Hello world. Tanky just wanted to say hello. He wanted to join the conversation because Tank has a lot to say about horror novels. That's actually Tank's favorite genre. If you didn't know, Tank loves the horror. I'm Tanky. Oh, just kidding. It's, you know, Tank has to sit in my lap. Like, even if I'm filming, he's like, no, I need to sit on my seat, which is your lap. Oh, isn't he precious? What a precious little bean. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby, and today I'm going to be starting a reading vlog that is going to be reading your horror recommendations. I'm actually starting on my October TBR early because if you didn't know, I asked in one of my YouTube community posts, I asked for different horror recommendations for books that you think that I would love, and I decided that there were so many books that sounded interesting to me in that recommendation list that I'm splitting this up into a two-part reading vlog. So this is going to be part one. I'm going to be reading 4 books in this reading vlog, and then I'm going to be reading another 4 books at the beginning of October. And so if you don't see one of the books that was highly recommended, don't you even worry about it, because I'm probably going to be getting to it in the first week of October. It's just the timing of how I was able to get my hands on some of these books that it worked out this way. But yeah, especially Cough Tender is the Flesh. That was probably the one that I got recommended the most out of anything in this world. But because of my timing with trying to get the audiobook from my library, I'm gonna actually save that for the first week of October. So I will be getting to Tender is the Flesh in the next round of these horror recommendations. But the 4 books that you have chose for me to read in this vlog are exciting. Alright, so the very first book that I'm going to be reading for this reading vlog is We Need to Do Something by Max Booth III. And this one got recommended quite a few times in the chat. One of the main comments that stood out to me was this comment that got upvoted 15 times from Nikki, and she said, we need to do something. It's a psych horror that is also a movie on Amazon Prime now. I haven't watched it yet though. I recommend it to people who like I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I believe they give off similar vibes. Anyways, a family takes shelter in a bathroom because of a storm, but they become stuck. You see their slow descent into madness as they wait for help and begin to realize what really happened outside. And so yeah, that's all I'm really knowing about it going in. It sounds crazy. It's a novella, so it seems like it's going to be pretty short and easy to get through. And I do believe there was more than just that one comment. I believe there was at least one other, if not a few more. So I'll put them up on the screen. The next book that I'm going to be reading for this video is Hide and Seeker. This one is a middle grade horror novel that got recommended to me. This one actually has 33 upvotes on this comment, and they said hide and seeker, middle grade horror, kids get kidnapped and taken to a nightmare world and have to survive against a creature called the Seeker. This is one that I'm excited about, and I think it is slightly out of my comfort zone just because I don't know if I've ever read a middle grade book, and I don't know if it would be something that I enjoy or not, because, you know, even young adults sometimes can read pretty young to me. So like, I'm kind of nervous for it just for that reason alone, but I'm also just really excited to give this book a go. I feel like this book has one of the most awesome, like, creepy covers that I've ever seen. Like, I just really love this cover, and so like, I'm excited. I'm totally willing to give this book a go. I think it'll be a fun time. And then I'm also going to be reading The Invited by Jennifer McMahon, which I'm so stoked about because I'm really happy that this one actually got recommended to me a few times in the comments, because this was always a book that I intended to read at some point, just because throughout this whole year I've been getting really into Jennifer McMahon. I've actually read 3 of her other books just within this year so far, and I've become absolutely obsessed with her as an author and as a writer, and I can't wait to try out more of her books. And all I know about this one is that it says a chilling ghost story with a twist. It says she returns to the woods of Vermont to tell the story of a husband and wife who don't simply move into a haunted house, they build one. Like, what does that even mean? What? And then the last book that I'm going to be reading for this reading vlog is going to be No One Gets Out Alive by Adam Nevill. And this is one that I got recommended quite a few times again in the chat. People are saying that this book is absolutely terrifying. It's one of the most scary books that they've ever read. So for that reason alone, you know, I am very intrigued by this. I also do know that this one is getting a Netflix adaptation coming out very soon, towards the end of this month, if it's not already out. But this is one that I am super intimidated by because of how thick it is. This one's like over 600 pages. And it's not often I read books that are this long, so, you know, I'm a little intimidated just for that reason, and I don't really know anything about what this one's about. On the back here, though, it does say, No One Gets Out Alive will chill you straight through to the core. A cold, merciless, fear-inducing nightmare to the last page. A word of caution, don't read this one in the dark. And I'm just like, okay, like what the fuck does that mean? I don't know, I've never read a book from this author yet, even though I know he's a pretty well-known-ish author in the horror community. At least it seems like he has a lot of popular books. Yeah, I'm excited to kick this off. I will be reading these 4 books for this reading vlog. And I have a lot of other really exciting horror books that I'm planning to read at the beginning of October. You know, Tenders the Flesh will be one of them, don't you worry. But yeah, for now, I'm starting with these. Let's cut right to the reading vlog. I'm so excited. Hello, I think I am ready to begin. Today is the day I'm going to start on this horror recommendations video. I'm just going to start with We Need to Do Something by Max Booth III, because this one is the shortest one. It's the novella, so I feel like I need the confidence boost of like starting something and finishing it right away so that I can feel like I'm making progress, because that's how my brain works. So I'm gonna start with this one, and just flipping through this, like this is only 150 pages and the text is pretty like large-ish. I'm excited. I'm very curious to read this one. Like literally all I know about it is that it says a family on the verge of self-destruction finds themselves isolated in their bathroom during a tornado warning. What in the heck does that even mean? I don't even know, but I want to find out. Yeah, it's about 12:30 in the afternoon right now. I do work at 4, but I feel like I'll be able to bust this out before I go to work. Like that's the plan. I want to try to read this all in one sitting, so let's get to it. Good boy. Oh my god, what the fuck? So it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon now. I just finished reading this book and like, oh my god, I'm not kidding when I say my face, I was like this the entire like last 50 pages of this book. I was just like sitting there in freaking shock and horror and disgust and like, oh my god. I feel like this book reminded me a lot of Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. It just had a very similar vibe to that story, but you know, the difference would obviously be that we're following this family who is, you know, trapped in their bathroom after a tornado warning happened. I love how kind of mysterious and ambiguous this story is. We're just following from the daughter's point of view through this entire story, and god, her dad is one of the most like toxic, awful humans that I've ever read about in a book, but it just makes it that much more intense because she's literally like trapped in this bathroom with him the whole time. And I love in this book how it gets to the point where these characters are not even sure of what's actually happening and like what's real, and I really love that in horror, when we don't even know if we can trust our main characters or any of the characters because they're kind of like losing their minds. God, this was just so good. It was so good. It was really, you know, disgusting. Like by the end of this book, I was seriously disturbed and it was so gross. But like in the way that you want horror to be gross, you know, like that's what you sign up for. Like my god, like some of the visuals, like I will not get this shit out of my head. What the fuck? And I'm so glad that this was a novella instead of like a really longer story, because I feel like this is the perfect kind of story that can just be told in this quick like 150 pages. There was no time to drag in this book. Like every single scene was intense and mattered to the story, and things just keep getting more and more bizarre for this family as you keep reading. Wow, holy shit, what a book, and what a way to start this video. I'm so glad I decided to start with this one, because I honestly had zero expectations going into this, because I've heard nobody mention this book ever, honestly. Like I've never seen anybody talk about this book. But it is blurred by Josh Mallerman. at the top, so that's pretty cool. But oh my god, I need to check out this author's other books. He had a few other books mentioned at the back of this one, so I'm definitely interested in checking out his other stuff because I love this kind of horror. This is some just like weird fucked up shit, but it's also like it makes you think, and that's what I like about it, is that it leaves you with a little something, you know. It makes you think, well, maybe like you theorize a little bit. So wow, yeah, I'm really impressed, and I am surprised that I don't hear more people talking about this book, or maybe I'm just like not following the people who are talking about this book. But wow, anyways, yeah, that was a really great way to start this video, and now I'm getting ready to go to work in about an hour, and yeah, maybe I could start something else later tonight, I don't know. It is already the next morning. Last night I didn't get the chance to read anything because it was actually like a really busy night at work. It was like one of the busiest nights we've had in a while, and so I was super tired last night, and I ended up editing a video instead last night when I got home. But I did bring with me to work No One Gets Out Alive by Adam Nevill. This one is the longest book, and I'm really excited to read this one. I do work all day today. Today's Sunday and I work all day today. But I'm hoping if I do get a break today, then maybe I can get a start on it, you know, just to get a little taste, a little flavor. Hello, it is just after 11 o'clock at night, and it's been a very long day at work. It was very busy today. It's just been a very busy weekend in general, so I haven't had as much time to read as I thought I would, because on my whole break today I was just like trying to get food and then eating for my entire hour break. But anyways, I wanted to let you know that I am now planning on starting No One Gets Out Alive. Do you hear that rain? Oh my gosh. It's amazing. It's like perfect to read in the rain like this. Wow, it's downpouring out there. I love it. On Instagram was on August 13th. It was numerous photos of him smiling. Hello, it is Monday morning now, and I'm so excited to let you know that last night I got 107 pages into No One Gets Out Alive. And this book, it just immediately jumps into the spooky vibes, you know? Like, this place that this girl is staying in is very creepy and very intense. Basic premise of this book is that we're just following this woman named Stephanie, who is very, you know, not having a good time. She's really broke, and so she takes like her last bit of money and puts down a deposit and first month rent on this little apartment that's like in this building. And little does she know, this building is like very strange and probably haunted, and like just it's just terrifying, you know? And so right away, like literally in the first chapter, we're following her like in her very first night in this building, and she's starting to get this uneasy feeling that something's going on. She's like hearing voices coming out of the bathtub, and there's just like, she can hear footsteps in the hallway, and she can't ever seem to see if anybody's there, and there's just like weird shit going on, and it's very creepy. Even the back of this book says, "A word of caution, don't read this one in the dark." And like honestly, yeah, you know, because a lot of this book has to deal with her feeling very paranoid right before she's about to go to bed, because she's like hearing sounds. She's hearing like scratching under the bed and stuff. So it was very scary, you know, to be reading this really late at night last night. I was like, what the fuck? But also I just feel so bad for her, you know, because she after like one night, you know, in this place, she's like, yeah, I'm fucking done with this shit, you know. But she is really down on her luck, and she doesn't have anybody that she can rely on, and she's so broke financially that she can't afford to leave this place right now. And so she's just put in a really hard place. She doesn't want to have to like go crawling back to her ex-boyfriend who's gonna want to get back together with her, you know, like she just doesn't have many options. The vibe of this, I will say, kind of reminds me of Lock Every Door by Riley Sager so far, just because of the fact fact that, you know, it's like a similar premise how we're like following this girl who's very broke and very alone, and she has to be forced to like live in this building that might be haunted because she doesn't really have any other options. And it's just giving me those vibes so far, but this one definitely feels way more horror, you know, because it is. Like Lock Every Door is more like a thriller story, you know, and this one's definitely more horror so far. But like, I don't know, I'm loving it so far. I'm curious to know, like, 'cause this book is like 600 pages, so I'm like trying to figure out where this could possibly go, that this story would need to be this long. I am back home. I took a shower, I'm nice and cozy, and I am jumping back into No One Gets Out Alive. And I want to be scared, so let's go! So, I'm about 250 pages into the book now. I'm sorry if you hear the laundry in the background, it's kind of loud. I don't know, I'm having mixed feelings about this book because I feel like the beginning of it started off like interesting enough, you know, it was like this girl and she's just like wondering what's going on with this place and it felt really spooky. But now it feels like it's getting to the point where it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like difficult to stomach what's happening for me, and I don't really like the direction that this story is headed in. It feels like it's heading in a less paranormal direction and more of a just awful, dreadful, you know, it's still a terrifying situation to be in for this main character. Like, I would definitely not want to be in this situation, but it's almost like it's going in a direction that's so awful that I don't really know if I want to read this, you know? Like, this is like, oof. And also, I feel like this writing is getting to the point where it's kind of repetitive, because I feel like from pages like 100 to 200 is just like a repeat of everything that happened in the first 100 pages with just a slight few more things happening, and you're just like, why isn't she leaving this place? You know, it's getting kind of frustrating. I mean, I know her options are very limited, and I realize that. God, she just needs to get out of this place. Like, this is insane. And so I don't know if I'm like loving the direction where the story's heading, but I think I'm gonna try to continue reading some more of it and see if I'm right. Ugh, like, I don't know if I can read this. Like, it's disturbing. It's like, it's unsettling, but like not in the best way. This is like, ugh. It's starting to feel like a chore to read this book right now. That's how I'm feeling about it. Hello, it's a little bit later in the night. It's about 11:30 right now, but I think I have decided to DNF No One Gets Out Alive. And I'm pretty sad about it, especially because I am exactly 398 pages into this book. So I'm nearly, like literally nearly 400 pages into this 650 page book, and I just can't do it anymore. I feel like this is one of the first horror books that I've had to set it aside, because not only is it so disturbing and it's making me feel so uneasy, but also because I just genuinely don't want to read this anymore. I'm finding the story to be simultaneously so boring and hard to get through because the writing is just like not my favorite, but also the story is really repetitive, and I think that's what's making it really boring. But at the same time, I'm finding the content of the story to be so disturbing and so unnerving that it's making me feel kind of sick to read this. And not in a good way, because I know you're like, oh my god, bitch, what are you talking about? Like, you love The Troop, and like some of my favorite books of all time are like really gross, awful, disturbing books, and you know, you're not wrong, but this is on a different level for me, and I don't know how to explain it without jumping into spoilers. I mean, I thought at the beginning of this book, I thought it was going in a certain direction, and I was on board for it, you know, because as you saw earlier today, I was really excited by the first 100 pages of this book. It was reminding me a lot of Lock Every Door, and I thought it was going in a more like paranormal, spooky direction. But I am just not a fan of the direction that this book is heading in, and I just don't want to read the next 200 pages of what I know is going to happen in this book. I'm just like, I don't want to do it. So I'm very sorry to anybody that did recommend this book to me. You know, I think it's really interesting because I am still very much navigating my taste in the horror genre, because I am pretty new to horror. You know, I just really got into horror at the beginning of last year. So I mean, I'm still kind of figuring out my taste, but I think I've decided that it's either this author that is just not for me, I don't really vibe with the writing style, and I think this book could have easily been cut down by at least 200 or 300 pages. But also, I just think this kind of horror just is not my favorite. And again, I can't explain without talking about spoilers. So I'm going to talk about something that's kind of a spoiler for this book. It's not like a major spoiler, but it is kind of spoilery. So if you do have an interest in reading this book and you don't want to get spoiled at all about anything that happens in the plot, then, you know, skip ahead. But I did want to mention a few things for why I'm not reading this anymore. So spoiler warning will be on the screen for the time that I'm talking about spoilers, but at the beginning of this book, I was just kind of expecting this to be, you know, this like really creepy ghost story, and it's like this really creepy haunted place that this woman is staying in. And for the first 100 pages, I mean, we pretty much got that, and it was really good and really well done. Then slowly after that, you start to realize what's actually happening in this story, and I am just not a huge fan of the constant reading about graphic violence against women and just like hearing things that are happening to other women. And the whole idea of this book is actually just really disturbing, and it's like, it's not the kind of horror that I want to read about, you know? Like, I like reading a horror where there's like more to the story going on, like there's something paranormal or there's like side mysteries or something like that, but I don't want to read just about women getting tortured. Like, that is not fun for me. That actually just makes me really like sick to my stomach. Like, I just can't, like, I don't like it. It just turns into, for lack of a better word, torture porn, and I just don't care. I don't want to read that. Like, it's literally making me sick to my stomach to read this. And it's like the two men that, you know, this main character meets, and the two men that are like, you know, in charge of this building, or they own the building or whatever, they're just like awful to read about. Like, right from the beginning of this book, they just gave me this very like uneasy feeling. But, you know, I was willing to look past it because I thought there was more going on. You know, I thought there was like this haunted building and it was all very creepy and ominous. But I feel like it's a little bit more straightforward than that. I feel like these guys are just like, you know, capturing women and raping them and torturing them. And it's just very hard to read. It's not my kind of horror. I don't like just reading about people getting tortured. Like, that is not what I like in horror books. And like, there very well could be, you know, more to this story. Like, maybe the building actually is haunted. I mean, my theory is that the building is haunted by women who they've probably maybe killed in the past. Like, I don't really know. But also, I'm not willing to stick around and find out, because I'm not about to read 600 pages of women being tortured. Like, it's not my thing. So unfortunately, even though I did get 400 pages into this book, I'm gonna set it aside because I can't right now. I can't. I don't know if I'm just being like extra sensitive today for some reason, because I feel like normally these things wouldn't bother me in books so much, but there's just something about this one. It's just really getting under my skin, but not in a way that's like a fun way. It's just disturbing, and I just don't want to read it. So yeah, that's a first for me, I think. I don't think I've ever had a horror book where I had to stop reading because it just got to be like a little bit too much for me. Alright, it's about 3:40 or so on the next day, and we've had such a busy day here so far. I went to Target earlier this morning and I got this like super cute, cozy skeleton shirt, and now I have changed into my cute Spooky Babe sweatpants that I have because I'm just like done, you know, with today. We have cleaned our entire apartment so well today, and we did so much. We like did even more decorating for the spooky season. And yeah, look at this kitchen, like look at it. It's just stunning. It's so clean. This is like the most clean we've had these counters in like so long. We also got these cute little decal stickers for the microwave that are like fall themed. My sister's got this cute little like sweater weather and puppy kisses, and it's just like all cute like fall themed stuff happening over here, you know. And we finally like organized like literally everything that's below the cabinets. We cleaned out the fridge. Literally everything is so clean and so organized in our kitchen. Like, wow, look at these counters. Like, it has not been this clear in here in so long. And then we also got these new pink glowy lights from Target earlier today that are just like so freaking cute and amazing. And then I also recently got these new posters from this company called Poster Store. I'm doing like a Instagram post with them a little bit later this week or next week, but I feel like they turned out so nice. Like, they just look so good. I mean, the glass really reflects so you can barely like see kind of, but I just feel like it looks really nice. Like, I don't know, I like the change in here of having these up here instead, and then we ended up moving the New York poster over here. At least I think this one's New York. It's probably not actually. I don't know which bridge one this one is, but we moved this over here. And then I also got these two posters from the same company, Poster Store. Outside, we did get the new orange lights that we like to do for Halloween every year, and they're flashing orange lights, so I feel like at night it's gonna look so cool. At Target earlier today, Rachel did get this cute like plaid pumpkin. We got a bunch of more like white little pumpkins, and it's just like the full setup in here. Like, I'm just loving this so much. So yeah, I feel like I can breathe easier when the apartment is just so clean. But anyways, right now Rachel is going to Wendy's, and I'm gonna try their chicken nuggets, which I've never tried before, but I've been wanting to try their chicken nuggets for a while because I used to love chicken nuggets when I was a kid. And so she's getting Wendy's, and I think the next book that I want to start is Hide and Seeker. I feel like this is going to be one that'll be easy for me to read, which is why I want to read it next. I feel like I just need a breather after the last book that was just a little bit too much for me. And because this one is more like middle grade, I'm not expecting anything too heavy with this book. I mean, I don't know. I could be surprised, I could be wrong, but I'm not expecting anything too crazy from this book. And all I've heard is that this book has like Stranger Things vibes. That's what I've been hearing about it so far. So I am very excited to read this one next. All right, this is the official Wendy's chicken nugget taste test. They look like this. Very, you know, standard chicken nuggets. I haven't had chicken nuggets in so long. Like since I was like a kid. That's good. What the heck? I've been missing out. I think I do usually like chicken nuggets better with ketchup. I don't know. Oh. I love fries with ranch.
Oh, I said ranch.
I don't know. I like it. What do you get? Burger?
Duh.
Duh. No, that's a cool cup.
I know, huh?
What the heck?
It's for vanilla.
I remember watching it and having to pause it. I was shook up. I didn't want to finish the episode.
Hi, it is much later in the night now, and I really didn't get the chance to read today. I only read the first chapter. Me and my sister, we ended up watching a lot of Mr. Ballin on YouTube. I just get so sucked into his YouTube channel, and I just want to watch video after video after video. And so, like, you know, some time went by, we were watching that, and then we also caught up on Only Murders in the Building. We were like 3 episodes behind, so we just caught up on all the episodes that we were behind. And that show is just so cute. It's just so good, so well written. I just love it so much. But anyways, now it's like nearly midnight, and I'm planning on jumping into Hide and Seeker. My biggest fear with this book is that it's gonna read like it's too young for me, you know? Because like honestly, I don't know if I've ever read a middle grade book as an adult. Alright, well, I wanted to update you because I just hit page 100. This book is super easy to read, you know, because it is middle grade, and I will say that I don't dislike it. I mean, I was expecting not to really enjoy this because, you know, at this point, like, even when I read young adult books, sometimes I feel too old to be reading them, and even though I do feel like I probably would have enjoyed this book a lot more if I was in, like, you know, 4th to 7th grade. Like, I definitely would have loved this if I was a kid, but, like, I don't dislike it reading it as an adult. Like, it's still pretty interesting. It's pretty good. It's definitely, you know, giving me those Stranger Things vibes, though, with all of the friends, you know, riding their, like, bikes around town and trying to figure out this mystery all on their own. The main, like, horrifying thing that keeps happening in this book is they played this, like, game of hide and seek in the beginning, and one of the kids was acting, like, super weird in their group, and now some of their friends are, like, going missing. And so they think that they, like, summoned this like seeker thing, and it's like super creepy and spooky so far. I can see this being like the perfect, you know, like lighthearted October read because it's not like too intense, you know, because it is written for a younger audience. But I also do appreciate that in our main character, we do have some really great like representation of anxiety in our main character. And I think that that's something that's really important for kids to read about, you know, if kids do experience anxiety, to like see that in a main character and know that it's okay. The main character in this book is also dealing with, you know, the loss of his mom. Like, his mom died pretty recently, and he's also dealing with a lot of anxiety, like their family's not doing that well. And so he's a pretty, you know, interesting protagonist to follow, even though I will say I don't think these kids' personalities are quite as, you know, strong in my mind as the kids from Stranger Things. Whereas in this book, I feel like all of the characters are kind of reading the same except for the main character. Like, he's the only one that kind of stands out to me. I don't know, so far I'm not disliking this. I'm enjoying it. It's probably looking to be, like, maybe a 3-star read for me right now, but I'm just going to continue reading until I go to bed, and I will let you know my thoughts in the morning. Hello, good morning. It is the next morning. I had to turn on my ring light though because it's so dark in my room because it's really like gloomy and rainy today. Today's September 22nd. It's the first day of fall. So it's very fitting, you know, it's great outside. But I wanted to let you know that last night I read up to page 217. I got all the way to chapter 24. And I feel like because this book is so, like, you know, meant for young people, it's really easy to read. So I was able to get through quite a bit of it last night. And I will say, even though I do think the story has gotten a little creepier, you know, it's definitely had its moments, I still just feel like I want more from this, which I know it's probably like unfair to this book, you know, because I'm an adult, you know, I'm not the target audience for this. I just want something more from this story that would probably be not, you know, appropriate or not something kids would enjoy. So it's like, can I really criticize this book like this? Like, I don't know. As I said last night, I was just finding the characters really difficult to connect with until like very recently I've started to really care about these kids. I was up kind of late reading this, so I slept in a little bit late, but I just woke up and I straightened my hair because I need to film a video today. And then my sister's actually home from work today, so I don't know what we're planning on doing. I mean, The Circle just uploaded, you know, 4 new episodes, so that might be happening.
Making some breakfast. I'm making these hash browns, and I just made some eggs. Rachel's been making French toast! Like the actual homemade kind, you know? It's amazing. Oh my goodness! Yeah. Is it lit? Is it just absolute fire? Amazing. Creepy caffeine mug on hand.
Hello, it's been a few hours. It's like 2 o'clock now, and I'm gonna finish Hide and Seeker. I filmed the video that I needed to film, and now Tank is just here chilling. Rachel's also doing her journal back there. Rachel made her famous mac and cheese, but we made it with these cavatappi noodles this time. I made the asparagus, and yeah, we're watching The Circle. Right, hi, it's like just after 7 or so, and it's a couple hours later, and I wanted to let you know that I did finish Hide and Seeker, and you know, the last 100 pages didn't really change anything for me in regards to like how I'm feeling about this book. I still feel like I'm just like slightly too old to be reading this, and I just can't shake that. Like, it was just bothering me a little bit too much to enjoy it. And I mean, again, I stand by what I said last night, and that I would probably have really enjoyed this if I was in elementary school reading this. Like, this probably would have been my jam, you know, because I used to be obsessed with like Goosebumps and like A to Z mysteries and all that kind of stuff as a kid. So I probably would have freaking loved this as a kid, but as an adult, it just wasn't super enjoyable for me. It just felt a little bit cheese at the end, you know. It just had too much cheese for me personally. I think it's gonna be like a 3-star for me, maybe like a 2.5-ish stars. Like, I don't know. Not that I didn't enjoy it, because I thought it was perfectly fine. It's just, you know, it just felt a little bit too young for me. That's all I really have to say. But anyways, I have finished the 3rd book for this video. I mean, technically I DNF'd the 2nd book, but you know, we're rolling, we're moving. And all I have left for this video is to read The Invited by Jennifer McMahon, which I want to read this one next because I do have the audiobook available that just came to me from my library. Tank is trying to bring me a toy. What, sir? Hi, it is much later in the night now. It's like 11:45 at night, and the night really just got away from me, but I am excited to let you know that I did start The Invited, and I'm actually about 60 pages in right now. I've just been listening to the audiobook, you know, in between watching The Circle and Big Brother and Survivor and all the things, and so far I am not surprised to say that I'm already really enjoying it. I'm already really invested. I already really care about these characters. Jennifer McMahon just truly has such an incredible way with words that she instantly makes me care about these characters. Like, she immediately makes them feel so human and so real to me. I don't know what it is about her writing, but I just immediately connect with it. And I just feel like I'm reading from an author that I just truly love and truly know. And so I love that. This book, we follow her typical kind of writing style where we get multiple points of views, and some are in the very, very past and then some are in the present day. This book starts off with a really intense scene following this woman named Hattie, and it takes place in 1924, and she's pretty much being accused of being a witch, is from what I gather from that very first chapter. And it was like a very intense, violent first chapter. And then we jump into the story, which is like our main story with this female protagonist named Helen, and this takes place in 2015, so this is in like the present day timeline. And her husband decide that they want to, you know, give up their city life and everything in their life and go out and live in the country, because they've always had this dream of owning this like really nice country house and just being like out in the boonies away from civilization and like raising a bunch of goats and shit. And so they decide that they want to do that, but they aren't really able to find the house of their dreams, so they decide that they're going to build the house of their dreams. They end up buying this land that is selling really cheap because the land is haunted, and they know this, and they take advantage of the fact that the owner is really trying to sell this land for cheap. And so they kind of like take advantage of the situation, and they're like, oh, this is so cool because, you know, we got this land so cheap because it's haunted. Like, they think it's all like a joke, and I'm like, this cannot be going well for them. Like, this is not going to be a good situation. Low-key, okay, I would never, okay, never, you would never catch me buying land if people are saying it's haunted. I am not going anywhere near that land. But, you know, these people, they're like, yeah, well, we don't believe in that kind of stuff, and we just want to live our dream on this farm, or on this land that they're gonna build their dream house. We also are getting the point of view of this young girl named Olive, and her chapters are also in 2015, and she seems to be like one of the neighbors that lives near this property, and she's kind of having a hard life, and we kind of follow from her point of view as she's going through some things. And I don't know, so far I'm just really, really enjoying it. I'm already connected to both of the different timelines happening with Helen and with the little girl Olive. And yeah, because it's 11:45 and I do work in the morning, like, I don't have to be up super early, but I have to be up at like 9. And so I think for the rest of the night, I'm just gonna put in the audiobook and just, you know, not read physically, and probably like try to play games on my phone and stay focused on what's happening in the book. But I just don't really feel like reading with my eyes anymore, because I feel like these last few books that I've just read, I've read so much with my eyes lately, and that is just so rare for me these days. Like, I feel like I rely so heavily on audiobooks these days, so I love how great it is when I can just turn on the audiobook and I don't have to like literally sit there and read with my eyes. I feel like it takes way more energy for me to read the books physically. I don't know how to explain that, but it just makes sense in my brain. So I'm so tired this morning. Like, I did not want to wake up this morning. I don't know what it is, but I can't seem to wake up. But I wanted to let you know that I did get through a good chunk of The Invited last night. I got up to page like 160 before I ended up falling asleep, and then now I was listening to the audio on the way to work, so now I'm right around page 200, which is very exciting. And I mean, so far I feel like this story is everything that I expected and also nothing like what I expected, but I'm still loving the creepy vibes. I love like the idea of this like woman in a white dress that they're like kind of talking about. It's just like spooky. It just has some really great atmosphere, which is what I have come to expect from Jennifer McMahon's books. You know, she just always has a really great spooky atmosphere, and I just love that so much. I also just feel so bad for this character Olive. Like, I just want to like hug her and, you know, like reassure her that things are gonna be all right. Like, I just feel bad for like everything that's going on with her character. I don't know, you know, I'm still really curious to see where this goes. I don't feel like as emotionally attached to these characters as I have with other books by this author, but I still like really care about these characters. So yeah, I do work all day today, and hopefully I can get a break so I can like listen to a little bit more of it while I'm on break. I don't know, sorry, I'm tired. I'm like I need to go back to bed or something. is almost midnight right now, and I can't believe that I haven't gotten the chance this afternoon to update you on what I've been reading, because I've been reading pretty much all day. I literally only have about 50 pages left right now, and I'm still really enjoying this. I feel like it's really like ramping up on the spookiness towards the end right here. I've just been editing that video that I filmed yesterday. I've been editing it for like 2 or 3 hours because it was just a lot more editing than I was anticipating for it to be. And also me and my sister had to watch Big Brother, like you know how it is. But anyways, I just popped in the audiobook and I'm planning on finishing it right now. It shouldn't take me too long to finish. And I'm excited, like I don't know where this is gonna go. It's spooky, it's creepy, and I'm loving it. Also though, I just wanted to mention that the main character in this, Helen, I think is her name, is kind of driving me nuts. Like honestly, like she would drive me nuts. If I was her husband, like her logic on some things, I'm like, girl, what? Well, I just finished reading The Invited, and this was quite the story. I feel like there was a few different plot twists at the end that I didn't really see coming. I mean, one of them I did, but then there was another twist on top of that one that I didn't see coming, so that was pretty cool. Something that I love about all of Jennifer McMahon's books is that they feel like horror stories, but they also feel like they have so much more to them than a lot of the horror books that I read, you know, because I feel like her stories just really make you care about these characters, and all of her stories center on women, whether that's like mother-daughter relationships or sister relationships or just like women connected through generations. I really love how a lot of her books feel similar in the sense that they deal with two completely different generations and then the stories connect in the most interesting way. And I just really love that. Like, I don't know where this book will rank for me as far as like my favorites with the other Jennifer McMahons, because I'm pretty sure The Winter People is still my number one. Like, I don't think anything's ever gonna beat The Winter People because that book is just iconic. And then I think I like The Drowning Kind second. But then I feel like this one and The Night Sister I feel pretty similarly about. I think I'm probably going to end up giving this one 4 stars because as much as I did love it, the protagonist Helen in this one did kind of drive me a little bit crazy. Like, I don't know, she just got on my nerves at some parts of this. But I really, really loved Olive's character in this book. She was definitely the standout character for me, and I just felt so much for her, and I kind of want to give her a hug. But yeah, wow, the ending was shocking. I feel like the story just went in a direction that I wasn't really anticipating. So I appreciate it for that reason too, because I thought I had this whole thing figured out. So I just really enjoy her books. Like, I don't know, I've never given her books anything lower than a 4 star. So like, I think I've found a new favorite horror author in her. So the 4 books, they've been read. I have feelings about them. I know I didn't really rank them in the beginning of what I thought I would enjoy. You know, that's something that I usually like to do, but I totally spaced on it. But if it's not obvious, I mean, We Need to Do Something was by far my favorite thing that I read for this video. So I need some light up in here. It's dark. Is it not dark in here? It's this Washington weather, you know, it's just gloomy in the middle of the day now. But yeah, We Need to Do Something is by far my favorite thing that I read for this video, and I'm so glad that you guys recommended this to me, because I honestly probably would have never even heard of this book if it wasn't for this, so you know, that's really cool. And then in second place would have to be The Invited by Jennifer McMahon, which, you know, nobody's surprised by probably because, as I said, I love Jennifer McMahon, she's one of my faves. And then next is gonna be Hide and Seeker. It's nothing like against this book or nothing wrong with this book, I just felt a little bit too old to be reading this personally. I just don't know if middle grade is my thing. And then lastly is No One Gets Out Alive. I'm sorry to anybody that likes this book, but I just can't, you know? I can't do it. And everybody has their own taste in horror books, and it's totally fine if you don't enjoy something that everybody else seems to enjoy. So yeah, this was an amazing learning experience for my taste in horror books. I think I'm getting closer and closer to defining my very specific taste in horror, and that's awesome. I'm very excited to do this video again, like do a round 2 in October. I have so many books that I'm looking forward to reading for that video. I might even do more than 4, like I don't know, I might get too excited and I might do more than 4, but I'm gonna try to keep it to 4 for the next round. Thank you so much for watching as always. If you do enjoy this video concept and you're new to my channel, I do have a video from last October where I also read your horror recommendations, so I can leave that link down below if you haven't seen it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you've read any of these 4 books, please let me know your thoughts on them, And again, if you have any other horror book recommendations that you would love for me to read in future vlogs, let me know down below, because horror is a genre, you know, that I'm very new to still. As I said, I'm only like 2 years into really loving horror, and so I'm sure there's like a ton of books that I haven't read yet that I might be missing out on, and so I would love for you to let me know if there's any books that you think fit that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye.